Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Stripped by Sia, your podcast for strippers, sex workers, and all the fancy naked people in between. My name is Steph Sia. I am the host of the show. You might also know me on stage as Kimchi, which is my stage name. I am a spicy little fiery dancer that you can catch me sometimes in various strip clubs in the Vancouver area of Canada. So that's what I do on a nightly basis. And then I'm also an OnlyFans creator. I also was a sugar baby a long time ago. And I do this podcast on sex work because I think it's important to help destigmatize and humanize sex workers and the industry and all that stuff. And pardon me, everyone, I'm very severely sleep deprived at the moment. So I'm going to try my best in terms to like formulate normal sentences like normal human beings. But today is like, oh my God, I had one sip of coffee. It did not work. And I'm going to be taking a big ass nap after this. So I am sorry if I feel like if I sound jumbled, it's because I'm a little bit off, but that's okay because we have a wonderful guest who can probably talk your ear off and which I will be introducing very, very shortly. I just wanted to give a quick shout out to all the Patreon subscribers, especially the ones on the top tier, which I'm going to give a nice little fan recognition shout out here. So hello to Paris Frank. We have Justin Erickson. We have Herb Sarkar. And we have Jay Sunstern. Hello. You will be all viewing this lovely video on my Patreon, the video exclusive. And if you are not a Patreon subscriber, you will want to be a Patreon subscriber today because our guest, who I will announce, it is Kiley Corrupt. Her setup is absolutely insane. It's twinkling and sparkling. There's hearts. There's a real cat. There's lots of plushies. There's all the things. And plus the costume, like you have to see it. It's not to be missed. And I am just like in awe right now. And I cannot wait to kind of dig into things. So if you are interested in that, it's patreon.com/strippedbysia. And that's where you'll find all the video exclusive content there, including all of the episodes from season 4 onwards. So enough of me talking about this standard jargon and stuff that I have to say. First of all, thank you for listening to the show. But I am more excited to bring on this week's guest, who I met at the time of recording. I met in April at the YNOT Reunion, and she just looks so freaking cool. I was there with another guest, Cactus Cutie, and we were just like, let's find people that look cool to talk about because we know no one here. We literally don't know anyone. And then we saw you, and who was it? Who else was there?
That was Charlie Cake.
Yes.
She's Not Your BB.
Not Your BB. Yes.
On Streamate and everything. I was staying in town with her. It was as soon as we walked in, you guys walked up to us, and I was like, hello.
Yeah. And that was so awesome, too, because, like, Cactus was like, to Charlie, she's like, you look familiar, and blah, blah, blah. And then it was, like, a case of mistaken identity. And then it just turned out to be really cool because we just, like, hung out all weekend. So...
It was good. It was a good time. I really enjoyed that event. Aside from the heat, that messed me up.
It was warm. Like, I mean, coming from the West Coast, Pacific Northwest, it was like nice and warm for me, but it was hot. It was really, really hot.
Yeah, I'm East Coast. Like, I grew up in like the forest and the mountains. So anytime I go out into the heat, I'm slowly learning how to deal with it more. I went to LA for the YNOT Awards.
Yes.
And I was dying there. I wore latex for the event. It was so hot.
My God.
Yeah, and then Phoenix it was like 11 a.m. and it was 100 degrees out. I literally didn't even know what to do. It was so bad.
You weren't even moving yet, and you're like, I'm sweating.
I was dying, and now I'm going to Miami.
Yes.
Oh my God, literally, I'm going to be there on the 16th. So it's so soon. It's insane how soon it is. It's crazy.
It's just been like a domino effect of events lately. But gosh, I need to give you a proper intro. Sorry, everyone. Let's back it up. I just got really excited to get into
the window. I hear a lawnmower.
Well, today's guest is none other than Avian and XBIZ-nominated cosplay.
Not Avian, not yet. Why not? And then XBIZ. Avian's my next goal.
But I'm just manifesting now, though. So
seriously, it sounds right. I felt like I definitely manifested my XBIZ award when well, not the award yet, not yet, but the nomination. Like, I was looking like at myself in the mirror, like, this is yours. It's already yours. Like, you have the nomination.
It has your name on it.
Yeah.
But yes, XBIZ.
YNOT was the first one I got. The
yes.
YNOT best cosplay cam model. I lost that to Little Puck, who I have a
Little Puck
huge respect for her. It's such an amazing performer.
Yes. I mean, it's just even amazing to be in the same category as that. But sorry for everyone listening with all the botched intros because we just keep chatting. Which
I know, right?
It's like foreshadowing of what the episode's going to be like today. But none other than Kiley Corrupt, a wonderful, amazing, really fucking cool cosplay cam model based in Pittsburgh. Shout out over there to the East Coast. She's joining me on the show today, and we're going to be chatting all today for the next hour and a bit, all about finding your identity in sex work, specifically camming, and just honing in on your creative process, finding out exactly who you are, because it's so easy to get lost in this industry. And of course, it's not all like glam and like fun and everything. We also want to address the ugly side as well, which Kiley will be going into later today. So enough of me talking. Kiley, do you want to say hello to the audience?
Hello. Hi. Yeah, just quickly some stuff about me. I am a cam model on Streamate. I love Streamate. They are like a pay-per-view site. They're not like a token freemium site, so it's very different than like MFC or Chatterbait. It's a whole different rodeo. There's like the below the waist nudity and free chat, so you gotta steal me away to see the good stuff. Yeah, so it's like when you're in free chat, it's really kind of just like a little like, I don't know, I feel like I can't post like you're on an improv show. But yeah, I'm trying to focus more on my content and my videos. I am truly a novice when it comes to things like that, and even just like the internet in general. I'm not a very computer focused person.
Oh, please. Just before the interview, okay, everyone listening, just before we got started, we're like, the video's not working. What's going on? Within like 4 minutes, you figured the shit out. So give yourself a little credit, girl.
Thank you. I've told you, I feel like I always say I'm the Mr. Magoo of cam girls, because I'm just like blindly doing things, and then I fall down a hill, and then I'm on the top of the website. How they do? Like, here it is. But yeah, June will be my 3-year anniversary, and no, July will be my 3-year anniversary, and then June will be my 1-year anniversary of like being on the top of the website. It was literally crazy to because I'm friends with a lot of cam girls, and it's a great support system, and they're messaging me the one day like, Kiley, you are on the top, like, you have the #1 spot, like, it's there, it's you. And I'm like refreshing, and I'm like looking at it on everything. I'm like, holy shit. And then it happens all the time after that, so I'm usually within like the first like one, sometimes the second row. It fluctuates. Wow. But it's really nice to just be like, I'm like, holy shit, they like me.
Oh my God. Well, congrats. That's such a huge accomplishment, because it's so hard to get to the top. And I'm sure we're going to go into how you even worked your way up to the top, because there's thousands and thousands and thousands of different, like many different models coming onto the site every single day. And for you to try to upkeep that image is incredibly challenging. And I just want to hear all about it, because I tried camming in the beginning of the pandemic, because I was like, I lost all my jobs. I'm going to try something new. And I like being on live, but then it just, that spark like faded real quick.
Yeah, I think that was the same story with a lot of dancers with the pandemic, where it was like, all right, now we're going to start camming. Some really thrived online and ended up liking it more, and maybe even never going back to the club. Whereas the opposite, I can only imagine how horrible that would feel. Like when I was stripping and I quit stripping for a guy, I went and worked as a waitress for the first time after.
What?
So like old men went from like tipping me hundreds to throwing change at me, and I was just like, felt like shit. Like, how could you not feel horrible? Because online, it's a big luck is a huge part of it, and I feel like not enough people say that, like what we'll touch on a little bit later, where they're like, I have the secret formula for the fucking Krabby Patty. Here it is. Pay for it. And then you get it, and it's fucking like spam, you know? You're like, what the fuck? You know, like it's bullshit. And now that's not everybody, and I don't want to like generalize people, but like it's kind of like how it is with anything. There's like good Army recruiters and there's shitty ones, you know?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And we are gonna just dig into everything as much as we can to sink our teeth in today over the next hour. But why don't we try to start chronologically as much as we can? We're gonna try to stay focused.
I have ADHD. You got to reel me in.
I will definitely reel you in like a fish. Just really in. But why don't we start at the beginning? Kiley, how did you guys start in sex work? Like where did it all begin for you? Because you mentioned you were stripping before and now you're camming. Like tell us in your own words in terms like how it started for you.
Oh my God. It's a fun origin story.
Ooh, I can't wait.
I was the kind of kid who like, you know, developed early, and like I just was sexualized by like a lot of people my entire life. That was just like the fucking normal for me.
Yeah.
And, you know, eventually, like, you know, so you see things. I also went to a Catholic school, so I was like super repressed by everyone around me too. I went to a Catholic school until like 6th grade. So like right in that like development, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also was in like not a happy home. So I think a lot of like my control was like, I need to control what's going on with my body. What is, you know what I mean? What that was something to a limit that I could control. And I remember this recently because when I went to Exotica, I met Katie Morgan and we smoked a bowl together, and I got to tell her about this. Okay, yeah. So when I was younger, I was watching like HBO late at night, and you know that like show, she did like an educational show where she was naked, like talking about sex, and she was just naked during the whole thing. Mm-hmm. And then at the end of it, she did this like pole dance, like stripper sequence. And I was just there like with these like glitter, like, whoa, what is that? Oh my God. Sorry, my voice is hoarse from Exotica. And like after that, I saw, I forget what pole dancer it was, but she was on Tyra Banks. And I was like, what is this? I need to do this. And then I was like, I want to run away and join the circus. And then HBO struck again with fucking the Bunny Ranch show, that cat house show. And I'm watching this and I'm like, you know, I think I want to do that. Like, because it had like a stripper pole there. And I was like, it's literally, I saw pole. And as soon as I figured out what that was, as soon as I was able to go to the strip club, I did. I wanted to dance on the pole. So, yeah, it was really off and running from there. I started stripping. I can totally self-taught with pole. I've never taken a pole class. But I love pole dancing. Even when I stopped stripping for a guy, I still eventually had a pole that I bought, and I have one downstairs that I keep. Come here, my cat's being a spaz. But yeah, and then like stripping eventually turned into like, you know, you do bachelor parties, and then I started doing like escorting, which I did for a while, and then that kind of up to like I would do like specific fetish stuff because the like, what do you want to call it? Like the escorting service, I guess, that I worked for, nobody wanted to do like, they're like, he wants to like suck my toes, or he wants me to rub my hair on him, or that's fucking weird. Like, it'd just be like, I'm like, that's nothing. Yeah. It's like, like she wants to pay you $1,000 to rub baby oil all over you and slide around like a seal around the hotel room. Why aren't you gonna do that? I'm gonna do that. So then I started seeing like fetish clients, and that's where I started to develop more that I was like, okay, I'm totally into like femdom for sure. It develops more of like hands-on with that. And then again, I just like sex work kind of fell out of my life, like all for the guy, because when I stopped stripping, I stopped escorting. Mm-hmm. And then I would see people all the time. They'd be like, you should cam when I was stripping. So many people would tell me I'd be so good at it. And I would always say, I don't know how to do computers. Like I literally didn't even own a laptop until I bought my first one for camming. I know. I just was a stripper, and I was like, I got an iPhone. It's a computer. And that was good enough for me. I know. But so I always like didn't care and didn't try camming until I, when I quit for that guy, we moved to Michigan, and then eventually I moved back to Pittsburgh. and I was working at Lush, which I loved Lush at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I will not speak on that company anymore now, though. But I kept seeing these ads on Instagram that were like, Pittsburgh models make $20 to $80 hourly, and I'm like, what is this? I know it's shady, but like, how shady? Like, is it like dirty massages? Like, or is it, what is it?
Yeah.
So I go, and it's a cam studio, and I was like, you know what? Let's try it. Like, they have all the equipment. They're gonna train you. They're gonna show you how to use the website. That's what your issue is. And the studio was horrible. It
Yeah.
was the worst studio ever with the worst training ever. They literally showed me how to work the website and were like, "You're a stripper. Do the thing." I've never watched a cam show before.
Oh my God. So wait, hang on, back up. So you were getting targeted ads on Instagram for this studio? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Is that even allowed? Like,
I thought it was like, I knew it was shady. I swear to God, I have the screenshots like somewhere because I just keep receipts of everything in my life. But yeah, it was like Pittsburgh, like steel models or something stupid like that. And then, yeah, and I go and there's like pictures of this one girl all over it. And that was the girl who trained me, she works on that website. And it was literally just like that, like very pyramid scheme feeling where they were just like, we get our cut, get on there. I don't give a shit. And they had like, oh, if you make this much money, you get this reward. You get a tip toy, you get lingerie, you get you get to keep your room and not move your stuff around because you had to bring it in and set up your room.
oh, what?
They never held the promises on any of their like prizes or contests. They really just prioritized like the main person who was running it, kind of just do whatever the fuck she wanted. And when I was there, I was hearing like, weird things like people yelling like racial slurs really loud. And I'm like, I know everyone in this building is white. What is happening?
Yeah.
Like, it's just weird. And I didn't even know what race play was though. And how that was a thing on cam. I didn't even know. And it's, first of all, still not okay in my opinion, but like that, I was instantly uncomfortable hearing this. Like, this is Pittsburgh. Like, what are you doing? Like,
yeah.
Why? Whoa! You're gonna get this
God.
place fucking destroyed. What is going on? So the inconsistency with the rules. I have authority issues. I knew I wanted to cam, but I knew I didn't want to do it there. The rooms were gross. They were like fucking Dell computers with fucking wireless internet. It was shit. It was all shit.
Oh my God.
Looking back. And then I told them I wanted to quit. And I signed a non-compete clause, as most people do when they join a studio, so that I couldn't join that website again for 6 months. So I still had my other job. It was the Christmas season, the busiest season. I picked up all the hours I could. Some of the hours I was working, like I think one of the fucking weeks I worked like 90 hours. It was crazy.
Holy crap.
Yeah, and I like literally studied every Google result about camming.
Yes.
I've read it. Every video, every YouTube, every forum, I've scoured them all for that 6 months. That's all I did. I was in this room. It had my reptiles in it, which I've moved downstairs on, but it was like all empty, and I'm just like visualizing the things I want. And yeah, then I signed back up, and it took a little bit for things to like get popping off because I had some like very big personal like losses in my life, like 3 huge ones, honestly, like one before and 2 after I started camming. And we obviously can touch more on that later, but like those camming helped me get through that. Like camming and my job definitely helped me stay alive during that time. It was very dark, and help you see like the humility in other people,
Totally. Well, we're in your chat.
She's over here.
Oh, I have a question. I want to hear like quickly, just briefly, the conditions you're working in with that studio, because I don't hear this very often with like camming studios. Like I've heard accounts before, and for those listening, and if you did listen to a few episodes ago, Maya Romero's story in terms of like how her boyfriend basically like pimped her out in terms of like, well, pimped her out. He trafficked her into becoming this cam model and like forced her to do that, and she had to she was forced to do that for hours and hours a day, and she never saw like hardly any of that money and stuff like that. Like, was the cam studio something like that? Like they would take a big percentage of the cut and stuff too? And like, did you ever see the other girls that were working there, or the other models? Sorry.
First of all, a couple things. That dynamic that you described between a couple and a cam model and an abusive man happens all the time. And not just men. That can happen in any kind of relationship with whatever partner, whatever they identify as. It's an archetype that you see a lot. Momo, I gotta let her out. But
Yeah.
if you remember, I don't know if you've ever heard of Goddess Green Eye.
No.
That was one of the first cam stories that, like, legend stories. It's not even a legend because it's true.
Oh.
That I heard that completely broke my heart, and I think about it all the time. So, long story short, Goddess Green Eye was a model on Streamate, and people would come in her room all the time, and she used to be normal and good. She was like a twerking kind of dom. And then one day you'd see her, she'd just be crying. She just looked miserable. And you'd be like, well, why won't she just log off? She should log off. Turns out she was being pimped out by her boyfriend. He was abusing her, making her do race play, making her do all kinds of things that made her hate herself. And she lit herself on fire and fucking killed herself. She
my God.
lit herself on fire, fucking killed herself because of this. And it's really scary and sad. And that happens a lot with sex workers. And I think that's, again, part of the danger. Like, that's why we got to look out for each other. And, you see someone like that and it's, you know what I mean? It's not, you don't think that's trafficking because you would imagine trafficking, you're getting kidnapped and in fucking some other country.
Yeah.
It could be your boyfriend. It could be your husband. It could be someone you love very much. And then, money changes people. Drugs change people. But with the studio, they definitely took a large percentage on top of one that was already pretty hefty, but they were honest about it. But the way that the rooms were, it looked like we were being fucking trafficked. It looked like shit. Everything about it was shit, and they keep the rates low, and they just set you up for a time where you're going to work really hard, overwork your body, not get enough money for what you're doing, and you're going to end up feeling like burnout and like shit. And I think that's why a lot of people don't last. If you look at studios in like Romania and stuff, they do your makeup, they do your hair, they give you a wardrobe, they let you pick like a themed room. They're in there supporting you. They're telling you what to say if you don't know. They want you to succeed.
Yeah, they want to support you.
They want you to grow and get better and better because it's just beneficial for them.
Mm-hmm.
But that whole, it's funny actually about the studio. I've been trying to meet more people in the area, and I met a sex worker in the area. Her name is Mistress Dolly. I think she's, I think she's like Two-Tongued Goddess on Instagram. I don't want to quote it wrong because I do want to plug her because she's a sweetie. Mistress Dolly is Miss Two Tongues with a Z on Instagram. And she's a pro dom here in Pittsburgh. She does IRL sessions, and she asked me about camming, like, I want to get back into it. And if anybody does, I'm always like, I will help you. I want to help you.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it. Like, I'll give you what I have. I'm not going to overextend myself, because I have before and gotten shit on. But I was like, whatever you need. And then she's like, yeah, I actually signed up for this studio. And here's where it is. And I'm like, oh my God, it's the same studio.
Oh my God.
So I'm like blowing up her phone. I'm like, you need to get out of there.
Yeah.
Like, I'm showing her all the receipts, and like, it's the same girl, and she's telling her all the same. And then she said to her, she's like, yeah, I'm gonna go meet Kiley. And she's like, oh yeah, Kiley, she works for us here. We really like her. Blah blah blah. I'm like, don't. It just makes me laugh because like they mistreated me, and now like there's no way they don't see me on the top of the page. Like,
yeah.
You are not nice to me. But so she ended up getting out of there, and now she's camming independently on her own time. And we were just talking today about how well it's going.
Amazing.
Yeah, I think that it's really important to weigh your options because there's even then there's sites where you don't know if you're signing up directly for the site. You could be signing up through a digital studio, and you don't even need the digital studio. Now they're just taking a cut.
Yeah, they're just taking your money at that point. So good to know. Speaking of like independent work, so you had done all the research, you had done all the homework, you read everything on Google, and you're like, okay, the 6 month non-compete is over. I'm ready to embark on my own. Tell us about that transition and that phase.
Well, it was a lot of in that time. I did look a lot of like comparing what's going on the website, which I don't think that they like what are people charging? What's normal? What's your average price, or how are they charging it? Because it's like I said, a little different on Streamate. So they have private, which is a group show, and then they have exclusive, which is one-on-one. And those both have the capability to do like phone, if you want to do just like traditional like phone sex on top of it, or cam to cam, where you're opening up their webcam and kind of doing like a naughty FaceTime. Some people open the camera in both chats. Some people only open it when it's one-on-one. Some people open it without sound because they don't like to hear the guys. Some people make them pay extra for sound. There's all these like superfluous extras and that can go into it where you don't even realize that just at the get. So a lot of it was me figuring out the flow of the website because my cam studio was like $2.99, $3.99. That's it. Like it's almost not the lowest you can charge, but it's very, very low.
Yeah.
So and then they bumped it up to like $4.99, $5.99, I think, before I left eventually because they're like, you're doing so well, blah blah blah. But you're going to get a caliber of customer when you charge less. It all depends on what can you do? What are you doing? What are you wanting to do? So it's really like so many things so where you need to understand at least somewhat of an idea before you're going into it. Like I was thinking, oh, I'm going to do everything when I first was in the studio. And then when I was going to be on my own, I was like, well, maybe I'll just do femdom stuff. Maybe I won't do any toy play or anything. And I did kind of start to do that in the beginning, but I realized that I enjoy doing it all. So
Yeah.
I switched it up at that point. Also with Streamate, they do like gold shows, which is like the ticket shows kind of on the other ones. And that's something you can get eventually. So I think it was really a lot of learning like how to play the game. And you don't even have to follow those rules. You can do whatever the hell you want. You don't have to you know what I mean? You don't have to.
But do you think that like there needs to be a strategy in how you market your cam and how you operate your cam shows?
For sure. I definitely think for sure. And it depends. I don't think it's exactly what everyone thinks. Like a lot of it's like consistency, be consistent. Like that's true. That is true. It's a great way to make money. But another way is also being elusive as fuck and being really busy. So when you are on cam, they're like, go, 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 there she is. Oh my fucking God, like, so but it's all depends. And I think that's what I like is because there's no real right or wrong way and it can work for what is going on in your life, your mental state, your health. A lot of us who cam, have disabilities, whether like hot girls got bathroom problems, like IBS hot girls all day. Hot girls take probiotics.
Yes.
Or just like mental issues, you know what I mean? Where it's nice that you can be like, you know what, I don't want to do any submissive stuff. I just want to be mean today. I don't want to take my clothes off or
That's important. That's important. It's really important that you say that too, because then you are going to have some off days. You are going to have some days where you're just like, I don't want to fucking do anything. And like, it's really great that you can honor that and recognize that too. And then hopefully your fans and your followers can also be along with you for that ride because it's just so humanizing.
Exactly. And the clients are so vast where there's people who they want to hear about your day. They want to share their like stories and secrets and stuff with you. Or there are other ones where it's just purely visual. They don't care if you can speak the same language as them, So there's just such endless possibilities. And I think like being yourself and being true to what you want, what makes you happy. Like they can tell. Like you can tell when I'm faking and having a bad day on cam, and one of my regulars comes in that knows me. They're like, I know something's wrong. I can tell you're not actually in a good mood. So I think that people will actually be able to tell when you're enjoying what you're doing. Like if you're doing like a really like spicy role play and someone's really good at it and you're like, oh my God, I'm so wet. Like, what? What's happening? Did you just turn me on?
Well, going on a little bit about what you said there too, like just finding your identity, like just being true to who you are. How do you navigate that amongst a sea of thousands, tens of thousands of cam models? Like when you're first starting, when you first started on your own, how, like, already it sounds like you were already kind of like outweighing the pros and the cons in terms of like, okay, well, I don't really want to do this, but I want to do this and I want to maybe cater more to this audience. How did you figure that part out for yourself? Like, were you already kind of thinking that while you were streaming, or was this all pre?
I think some things had to be figured out like while streaming for sure about like what works.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was like, oh yeah, I'll totally do anal on cam, but like my anal prep is extensive, and sometimes you don't want to do that every day. Like, there's no anal, like, you know. I feel like it, understanding what like the game of camming is kind of helps, so that there's not like many surprises. Like going into it knowing that there's going to be trolls, there's going to be people who say really mean, messed up things about your appearance, or just themselves, like extremely triggering, disturbing things is going to come at your way any moment. And you need to be able to be composed and keep the show rolling. And if you can't, you can stop the show. You know what I mean? I think it's
Mm-hmm.
unprofessional to sit and be like,
And just take it.
all I get is fucking mean people all day. La, la, la. Like, well, then log off and start again and keep that shit to yourself and keep smiling.
Yeah.
So that's usually what they want. You know what I mean? They want you
They
to
want
be
to,
in it.
yeah, they want to get under your skin. They want to get to you. And there's so many troll people out there. Like,
It's literally like if you're popular on YouTube and you cannot read the comments, you can't do that on cam. Like they're there in your face and they're like, "Hey, you big nose bitch." I'm like, "All right, there it is."
yeah, here we
Hey,
go.
okay. Oh my god, sometimes they're funny though. One of the last times I was on, it was a while ago. They're like, "Get back in the kitchen, you baby face bitch!" And I like literally did like a spit take because I wasn't ready for it. It was just like out of nowhere. Like, okay, that was funny. You're funny.
But like, Kylie, how do you deal with that? Because it's always like, yeah, you can turn off the stream, you can just smile and look pretty and just deal with it. But like internally, does that do anything to you at all? Does that ever affect you? Do you ever take things like home with you? I mean, you stream at home, but like, you know what I mean? Like after your stream, do you take it personally at all? Or you
It
internalize
depends on
it?
the severity of it, but when I first started, fuck yeah, things like someone would say something really messed up to me, and I would cry, and I'd be logging off and crying, and not want to get on again because it just would make me feel like fucking dirty. The shit they say, because it's just like illegal, fucked up, fucking things. It's just like you fucking are disgusting. But you try to think that it's not real. They're just trying to upset you. They're not actually doing that. Like they're just really trying. That's what they're doing, you know. But I get a lot of army guys.
Oh.
Yeah, my clientele is a lot of army men, and sometimes they tell me their secrets, and those ones are the heaviest ones because I just want to hug them and like hold them and like make them feel better because those poor guys see some really fucked
That's
up
it.
things,
Yeah.
and yeah, that is it. That's that. There's a couple times where I've had conversations with my army guys, and they've just unloaded, and I'm like,
Wow.
just like, okay, God. Like, but I would not do it for them though. You know what I mean? It was like that when I was a dancer. I was literally like, I'm just like a topless therapist.
Oh yeah. Sex workers and therapy, like, we are not therapists, people. We are not
Yes.
therapists.
Yes, and it's like I said, it depends on the consent. Like these people don't just unload this shit onto me. We will be like, go ahead, you keep going. Like, it isn't like a safe, respectful way. I do want to iterate that as well. But sometimes I agree when people just unload. It's like there's a time and a place for that. You need to fucking give me money for this.
Yeah, absolutely.
I also feel like sex workers, like not all of them, but there's like a certain like some of us just remind. I'm like I think of myself like this, of course, because I'm vain. But like you're like on the top of a fucking like mountain, like 1,000 years ago, butt naked, huffing fumes and like telling the kings their future and shit. Like healing them with your vagina. I'm like, that's me. I'm gonna fix you.
Well, for those who are listening, wherever you are, I mean, this podcast is worldwide, and who cannot see the video exclusive.
Right? You can be watching. I'm smoking sexily.
Yes, Kylie is smoking sexily, and she looks like a beautiful elf dressed in red in this amazing costume. That's like, I'm so speechless about. Like, it's so
It's
cute.
got like little like heart details
It's so
and little
adorable.
poofies.
I
I
love
had
it.
cat ears, but I didn't want to wear the cat ears. I wanted to be an elf instead.
It's cute. Like, well, I mean, like, just tell me about your cosplay and your look, and like, was this something that was always ingrained into you? Was this a character, an alias that you had kind of built up over time, or?
So my Kylie name, I got Kiley Corrupt when I was dancing. I had a couple other dancer names, and eventually it was like, ooh, it makes me think of you remember Naughty and Nice? She's a porn star. And I love that play on word. So once that was a thing, and then actually my mom pointed this out to me. When I was younger, I used to draw a bunch of like half naked, big titty anime bitches. Like that's exclusively what I was drawing all the time. My mom was like, "This bitch is gay." um, Literally, she was like, "You just like became all your drawings." Like I seriously, and it's pretty on point. Like, and obviously, I watched a lot of anime porn when I was younger, and currently now, and that's like usually what I'm aiming for with my costumes on cam is to be like a random like hentai character.
Yes.
I do like existing cosplays, but on cam most of the time those like those are hit or miss. So I just do whatever I want.
Yeah.
And it's like I used to try to pre-plan stuff and it never like went to plan. So I think my like creative process is I just have to like do it and work under pressure.
Mm.
I work better under pressure. So I'll like have like one piece of clothing, like it could be like a shirt or a skirt or anything, and be like, all right, I'm gonna build it around that. It's gonna
Right.
be like a bunny librarian or whatever. I have like a bunch of like ears. My closet is like half taken out right now because of when I was traveling. Or I'd show you my closet.
Yeah.
Like shit right now. But I have like two big racks of like just random costumes, and then my cosplay shelf is over here where that has like specific like existing outfits. Where I'll do those a lot for like on request on cam. If they'll be like, "What cosplays do you have?" and that was like a JOI or something with the character specifically.
Gotcha. Yeah, like because I was curious too, like how do you incorporate cosplay like into your stream, and like I mean, even just scenarios like that. Are there other instances where you can also incorporate that too?
Yeah, I think like dudes are horny for elf ears. They're so horny for elf ears. Like the one
I did
day
not know that was a thing.
any cam girls listening, buy some fucking elf ears. Because I like put them on the one day because I want elf ears. Like, God, I wish I could have like really big, long, droopy ears, like pointed. That would be whoo body perfect. So I bought them with like I love how these look, and then like eventually I started like I do like makeup on them and paint them to look more like my skin tone, or like make them look like like these ones I like blushed them on the end so they like look red on the ends, and then I have
Yeah.
like ones that I painted for my mushroom costume, which I wore at Exotica. It was really I pulled in that actually too. I did the pole competition both the days. It was so
Oh,
fun.
damn. Oh, I want to come to Exotica next year if time permits and it doesn't interfere with my wedding, but we'll see.
Oh my God, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, that's another thing that's like making my schedule a lot busier is wedding planning, but no one wants to hear about that right now.
That's like a nightmare in itself, planning a fucking wedding.
Oh
Woo!
my god,
Godspeed.
it's something else. It's something else.
Yeah, the next Exotica, I think DC is next, and then there's New Jersey in October. I really want to go to that one. I'm trying to get into the YNOT booth again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely want to shout out YNOT. I love them. They're fantastic. The Jay and Connor, the owners, are very, very nice.
Yes.
I had a fantastic time at the booth this year, and my first one. I definitely want to work because it's in October in New Jersey. So like I want to do like crazy, crazy costumes every day because it's so close to Halloween.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's gonna be so much fun. That could be hella fun. Sorry, we're going back to your creative process and like cosplaying and stuff like that. I was curious too, like, is there a certain line between being gimmicky or being seen as like a novelty versus like being true to yourself? Because I feel like some models go through that. It might not be
Yeah, that's
visible,
actually
but
a really good question. Because I'm super cringe. I so am. I know that I am. Like even when I was at the event, one of the girls in the booth that I really connected with, Eden Blair. I love her. She is so cute and so gorgeous and nice. And I want to apply to like a professional agency, like a porn agency, so I could get more work and more mainstream stuff.
yeah.
This is a personal goal of mine that I want to do. And she was like, when you apply, have like your two cosplay looks, but do like a soft glam and natural look and show them the diversity of it because you're gorgeous with, no makeup, a light makeup, the glam porn look. Like show them that because they will take you. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm saying this wrong, but showing them that versatility
Versatility for sure. There we go.
definitely helps because it is like obviously there's a market for it, but I can see whereas like the mainstream is still so much bigger. Like I'm trying to be like Purple Bitch. Like I like she's like a huge I like Sia Siberia. They're both very big inspirations in terms of like clips and how they make their clips. I am not good at clips. I want to get better at that because like I have the like all of everything's good. I would aesthetically do exactly what I want. I just need to get the filming and editing part
Mhm.
down. But I like being able to create every time on Streamate. Like there are times where I'm like, oh, just wear a t-shirt and light makeup, and then this happens. Like every time I'm like, I'm just gonna do a subtle little, and the wing is off my face. So can't. Like I went out with my cousin the other day and I was like, I'm just doing light makeup, and then I got in the car and she's like, your wing is like 4 inches long and you're wearing like drag queen lashes. It's like I'm only wearing concealer though. Like what? That was wrong.
But yeah, sorry, going back to the question. And if you don't want to answer, that's totally fine. But like, where's the line between gimmicky and novelty versus like staying true to yourself? Because sometimes people just do it for clout, or will get stuck in that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's just again staying definitely true to your like what makes you feel good. Like, and I think that's like that with any entertainment industry. Like, are you gonna do, might you work with someone who might necessarily not be your favorite person, but like they have clout? You know what I mean? I don't know if I could like work with somebody that I couldn't stand because they're a bad person just because it would be beneficial to my career. And then with the gimmicky part, sometimes I feel like I'm like oblivious. So I might be totally like that and I'd be like, oh, like cringe one trick pony and not be considered and not even realize it. I'm like, fuck, having an identity crisis. But I don't know. I don't know. I think that a lot of it is like, do you have the information to back it up? I would say, in my opinion, in terms of like cosplay and stuff, where you see that it is really popular, and you could just put on a fucking Naruto cosplay and be whoever the hell you want, and make a really visually stunning video. But on cam, a lot of the like big spenders that are going to be repetitive and good to you, and that you can have good convos with, are people who also watch the anime and they want to talk about it. They want to hear what you did and didn't like. They want to there's same with like the video game aspect of it. Did you actually play that game? Can you actually give them what they're looking for, and then also give them a sexual role play based on this character that they are super horny for and have been listening to talk, how they talk,
Right.
the verbiage, all that kind of stuff. Like that is what
They're looking for.
I think. Yeah, like keeps it going if you can actually talk about it. Whereas they're just like, I'm Sakura. Like, all right, and what about her?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Because, like, yeah, sometimes, like, I see some of my friends that are trying to, I wouldn't say trying to get into it, but, like, they are definitely, like, utilizing cosplay as a way to leverage themselves. And I think that's really awesome. I think it's really cool. But then I just wonder like how legitimate and how authentic that is to yourself to do that. Cause I just feel like they're doing it for the fans, or like, I don't know if they actually watch anime or whatever, but like it's interesting to observe and to see unfold.
Or also just like I would say people wanting to start cosplay, make your first cosplay a character that you really want to cosplay. Like, was there one that you wanted to dress up as a kid? Like when I was a kid, I grew up really, really poor. My dad spent all his money on fucking drugs and alcohol. Because we would have not been poor if he didn't do that, which annoys me because like my job is crunching numbers. So like now, like how much money men make, and I'm like, oh, you didn't pay this bill. This was company covered. Oh, you motherfucker! Like,
yeah.
And there was so many things I wanted to cosplay as a kid. And even when I first started cam, I didn't start doing cosplay until maybe like a year into it.
Oh. How did like your fans receive that? Was that like a major switch for them, or like how did they digest that?
Well, I did like have things sprinkled in there, like this is my cat's butthole. Like I would wear like anime shirts. This cat is a huge asshole too. It's when I got her as a kid, and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with her? It's fucking huge.
The cat is
She's a big girl. That's why. Pay for the Patreon for that reason alone.
100%. She's showing her booty, and I'm talking about the cat, not Kiley.
Yes. But I would wear like anime shirts, or I'd talk about anime, or I have like toys in my room and stuff like that. So it just kind of like clicked one day when like I wore the elf ears, and like I was so busy that day. I was like, oh, now I'm not taking them off. Like now I'm done. And then I bought, I forget what was my first cosplay I bought, but it was Morgan Aisland from Darkstalkers, which is a Capcom video game from the 90s. It's a fighting game. There's a bunch of hot bitches in it. And it felt so good, like, for my, like, inner teen and inner child to, like, yes. And then it was like, oh, well, now I'm making money off it. Now, like, I have a reason to buy these, and I can get even more into it. So then it kind of started popping off from then. And then it was like, all right, this is working into my cam. And when I started doing it, there wasn't a lot of, like, kawaii type anime girls on the website. And now there's more and more, which I love. I love seeing, like, kawaii girl supremacy. But I don't know, there is like a line with I think certain like behaviors in what you do, like
Go into that.
Like a hego specifically. I'm sure you see
Oh
that.
yeah, that's the whole thing. Can you explain to the audience what that is? Like I know what that is, but like for those who are very vanilla or whatever.
This is called ahegao, and it translates to pleasure face in Japanese. So basically, like when I was a kid reading hentai, like that's like the face that they make them make when they're coming. It's like this ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
Like, you make it okay, but you be getting plowed. You make some dumb faces, so pretty accurate. You know what I mean? Like it can happen in real life. Like you see porn girls rolling their eyes back from their head.
Yeah.
So like that was just always a thing that I knew about, and then it started to become prevalent with more like Belle Delphine and people like that becoming more popular, to whereas people who don't even like anime are like, well, this turns me on. I don't fucking know why. And then and then I get on Twitter. Finally, I joined Twitter, and there's a lot of people making like not a stir. They're trying to spread knowledge about how ahegao is inappropriate, and I'm like, okay, like what's good? So basically, they're saying that where the origin of it is based off of like CP, which I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, because it's just something that's been around in anime for like forever, in manga for forever. It just kind of exists. So to pinpoint where it is starting and blame it on one thing, I don't necessarily agree with.
Right.
But basically, they're saying that it's about, what's the word? Like reclaiming your trauma, and it enforces more stereotypes that like Asian women are submissive, and just you understand those kind of negative, like sexually submissive, like weak, that kind. I'm sure you've experienced that in your life.
I have definitely experienced that.
Exactly. So they're like, it pushes that archetype, and we don't agree with that. So it's like doing race play. If you're a black woman on a white person, is like, okay, you're reclaiming that trauma. That's acceptable. Whereas reverse, me being someone who's white and it's a black male asking me to call him racial slurs, just absence to no all around, like absolutely fucking not.
Yeah.
So a hageo thing, people are saying like this, this offends me. I think that only Japanese or people of Asian descent should do this, and
Mm,
this is why. And like, I don't do it, and I used to do it because I wasn't on the internet in that way to understand where these people of color are coming from, and that's their opinion. And me as like a fucking big titty, blue-eyed, blonde white person, I'm not gonna say shit. I'm gonna say, okay, like, I already coming from cam am on a place of privilege, and I understand that, where it's just like my looks, how I speak, the, you know, my body features that I came built with, I'm already in a better place regardless of where I would be on the website, because porn has a very definitive, not exactly PCI from the viewer's point.
yes.
So I stopped doing it as soon as I found out that, because I'm not gonna question anybody on that. I removed all the content that I could that had any evidence of me ever doing it, and I will also always openly speak about that I did, in case somebody has some stolen content back from when I first started, and it will come out. I don't ever want it to be like a hidden, or, you know what I mean?
Yeah, or secretive kind of thing. Like,
so that in itself, explaining that, kind of sets the tone for where a lot of the people's opinions of these like anime type girl cammers, or even people just on TikTok or
ooh,
whatever, you know, there's either the people who don't know and they're very into it, or they don't give a shit, or the people who are saying, this is wrong, this offends me, I think that it, you know, should be more known about. So
absolutely.
you see a lot of that, where I lose a lot of customers on cam, where they come in my room and they're like, yo, you do hi, I bet you can do it really good. Like, yes, I can, but I won't do it for you, and here's why. I literally say,
Yeah.
go ask an Asian.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really cool, because I had no idea about that. Like, I knew about like the face. I didn't know the historical significance behind that. As an Asian woman, I had no idea what that
And I feel like
entailed.
it is not known enough. Like, but there's a side of Twitter where it's like, but it's very, very known. I'll send you the thread, because I
Yeah,
definitely
please.
have it
I'd love
somewhere.
to read more on that.
Because they
Yeah,
have sites and historical facts and things that I'm like, I'm butchering.
yeah, no. Please send it to me, and I can also include it in the show notes too for anyone else that's curious as well.
Yeah, yeah. Just because I would definitely want more knowledge about it out there, especially if it's like, I felt like shit knowing that that's something that could hurt someone else's feelings. And I might lose a little money, but that's not my whole thing. It's, you know, I'm not going to base, if you don't know, you don't know, but I, in good conscience, couldn't base my whole identity and how I make money off of something that's like putting a minority down, especially fucking Japanese. Like, I fucking love anime and have like a big revere for other cultures, and I don't ever want to be appropriating anything. I don't ever want people to be like, oh, you're, you know, like, you're fucking Asian fishing and like doing your makeup to look a certain way. Like,
Mhm.
it's there's a lot of that now,
There's
especially with
so much
like
of
younger
that.
people. Well, it's
Oh,
just
I could do an entire episode that I've been really wanting to do an episode on that, because like I am really hypercritical about that, because I am an Asian woman and I am observing this, and it's really fascinating, and also like no one really talks about it either. So maybe stay tuned for a future episode on that.
I would love to touch on that. I mean, it's the same thing with people getting surgery to have like ambiguous fucking features of a black woman. They want, you know what I mean? Like, it's just right currently now. That's what the youth beauty standard is obsessed with, a certain, you know what I mean? Everybody's getting their fox eye surgery. Everyone's doing this, that, and the third. But really, it comes down to, I think, just have a conversation about it. You know what I mean? But yeah, that was a big thing with like the cosplay girls, and I think that it is kind of split like that on my website, of people who will, you know, they do, or they
Or
don't.
they don't, yeah. Well, a lot of it is like, honestly, it boils down to do your research in terms of like the things that you are going to be participating in, the things that your fans want you to do. If you don't know much about it, maybe it doesn't hurt to kind of like educate yourself a little bit about that before getting to a situation where you actually offend someone
Yeah,
or
you
hurt
just
someone.
protecting yourself. And I, to reiterate on that, my first like collab that I got invited to do was with a group, and I didn't take the time to look into each member of the group's past. One of them had an extremely problematic past, like being like pro rape and like crazy shit. And I did a whole like stream with them. I don't want to be too specific on it and out them and all that, but you literally Google it and it's there. But like it was just funny because like it was like a talking kind of thing. So like some of the things I talked about definitely made him mad because it was anti-rape things. So like he was so pissed during it. Was then afterwards I had a weird feeling. I was like, why was he so mean during the second half of that stream? And then I put his name into the Twitter search bar and I was like, oh my fucking God.
Cringe.
So always look, even if you trust one person getting you involved, who's their partner? What are other people saying about it? Like, take the time to look, because I can't take that video back of us. And, you know, like nothing bad happened to it necessarily, but I am affiliated with them.
Yeah. So good sound advice. You also briefly mentioned earlier about TikTok. I also have comments on TikTok, and I did a whole episode on TikTok in terms of strategy and stuff like that with Emily Jones. But referring to TikTok in regards to maybe the negative or the glamorization of sex work that's on it, the glamorization of cam. But what about like the ugly side too? Because like I know that you off the air, you had a really interesting perspective talking about sex works and being seen as like an MLM or like a pyramid scheme. And I'd love to hear and pick your brain on that.
Yes, I'm so ready to go off about that. So it's like that on TikTok a lot, where specifically the ones I've been seeing a lot recently is like either foot pictures or dirty underwear is what they're trying to sell, like dirty clothes.
Yes.
And they're like, I am this gross and I made $10,000 and you can do it too. It doesn't matter how ugly or smelly you are, you can do it. Like,
yeah,
which is like, okay. First of all, when you go into porn, like going into camming and even going into stripping, not one body is meant for everyone. And if you're in like, yes, you can work at a certain kind of club that only hires certain kinds of girls, but if you work at like a pretty normal club, you're going to see every kind of titty, every kind of pussy, every kind of belly, like, and they're all going to get money. So, first of all, I feel like that a lot is rooted in that people perceive porn a certain way or what we should look like, or they think we all do look a certain way. So they're going into it like, yeah, this person has the fucking secret for me and what I need to say. And then they're like, it's always like, sign up for this site that you pay monthly to be on. And it's always something shady like that. Like, if you're signing up for a site where you're selling pictures, videos, underwear, fucking bathwater, anything, you don't pay.
Yeah, you should not pay. First of all, no one should be paying for that shit ever. It's not. It's like Herbalife or like doTERRA and stuff like that. Like, don't do that.
Seriously, that's how I feel. And then so like when the pandemic happened and when Beyonce the Queen mentioned OnlyFans and everybody was like, "Well, it's time to go on OnlyFans." There were so many people like before they changed the rules for OnlyFans, like the cap. I think once you make $1 million off of your referrals, you don't get to make any more off them, which is fucking insane.
That is crazy. First
of all, that they even have that as the number. So
yeah,
a lot of these bigger girls, that's their whole hustle. Once they get to a decent percentage, first of all, you could lie about your percentage. You could Photoshop that fucking shit. Yeah. If I'm 0.03, you could say that all fucking day. How these girls that are going into it, they don't know how to fully correctly verify, first of all. And then they sign up with your info and they're like, here's some basic information you could have just fucking Googled. Like 9 times out of 10, that's what they're giving you is the most basic stuff. Like, did you turn on and off your router type advice? And you're like, and then they're like, go for it. And so, or they'll tell girls, you know, a lot of girls would tell all their people in real life, I have an OnlyFans. So all the guys that you know, I want to fuck you, subscribe. And then they don't resubscribe because they fucking saw it. And they're like, okay, done. That's what? And then you're mad because you ain't got no money month 2. Or you're mad because you're doing bad and you feel like shit about yourself. Like you're like, I'm ugly. What's wrong with me? This isn't selling. Like you're selling yourself. So you're going to feel like shit when it doesn't go well. But you're also kind of set up for failure when you're going into it not knowing anything. Yeah. Like OnlyFans and even like panty sales and stuff. That's like marketing. Like
it's all marketing. Marketing, sales, it's admin. It's like
it's so much more than that. And I think that they think it's easy money because they don't respect our work. And then when you get your fucking foot in there and you really realize that it's a lot of shit, and not only is it a lot of shit, it's extremely mentally taxing, and it is not for the weak-minded at all. Like, our industry turnover is so high. Like, I feel like I heard a statistic once where it was like 30% of the girls who sign up for, a campsite never go live. The 30% of them that do go live quit within 1 month. And then, like, the 30% of those girls don't even last a year. And that's literally 10% that is left to keep going. And will they go on again?
Wow.
There's a big luck is just such a giant factor that I think people don't talk about.
Ooh. Talk about that, because no one's ever talked about that on my podcast, actually.
Being lucky is so a thing. Like, let's use fucking Savannah Solo, for example. Savannah Solo is hosting the XBIZ Awards this year. She's stupid fucking popular. She's been in Rolling Stones. She's been in tons of stuff. She definitely is top percentage on OnlyFans. She got popular by luck. Wow. She had a video that went viral on World Star Hip Hop, which it goes viral because they purchased the video to post it. So she obviously had that video doing better, and it was her basically being like a guy talking shit because she's ugly, and she's like, I make more money than you on OnlyFans, essentially was the joke.
Right.
And boom, boom. That goes on World Star. Everybody's like, whoa, this homely looking girl next door type. Wow, boom. Yeah. And it's just a domino effect from there.
Right.
It's you might have a video that goes viral. You know what I mean? Like, I've had a couple videos go like different levels of viral on TikTok, but I always get deleted right after. So that really.
Oh.
I know, like the one was like over 200,000 fucking likes. Boom, gone.
No.
Gone.
Yeah, TikTok's a tricky.
I'm on my like fifth account.
Yeah, I mean, like, luck is. It's like timing. It's being in the right place at the right time, catching the attention of like an agent or something like that, like, or whatever, World Star Hip Hop or whatever it may be. Like, not a lot of people factor that into their success, which is great that you actually brought it up, because again, no one's really ever addressed that before on the show. So
I would say, yeah, like I feel like a lot of things that have happened to me in my career have been very lucky. And I also am the kind of person who puts down my own work. So like, I think it took, like, I would talk to so many top models. They'd be like, I love you. I love your room, your energy. You're so crazy. You totally deserve to be on the top, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, whatever. Like, and even still, like, I get my XBIZ award, I'm like, a nomination. I'm like, does this mean I'm good? Like, I don't know.
Well, there's like a lot of imposter syndrome that comes within sex work. So much.
And success too. Especially if you're the kind of person who, like, it's hard to be like, yeah, you did a good job. And like, this is just all me. Like, once I started just acting like myself on cam and like fully just being me, that's when I went to the top of the page. That's when I got way more popular, when I just started acting like my weird ass personality and I want to dress up in anime outfits. You know what I mean? Like, I tried to do the whole normal ish thing for that whole year. And then once it just kind of clicked where it was like, I'm going to be fucking weird. I am weird like that. Like, I'll just the shit. I can't even give good examples because it's just like shit. Like, I fall on cam all the time, and like I'm very like shit talky, and I make a lot of jokes. I always wanted to be a comedian, so very much they're like beating their dick and also like being like, this is the funniest thing ever. You're so funny. I love you. Like, I just want to make everybody feel better that comes in my camera room. Like, that's my favorite part about it, is just like spreading that like love and like light and happiness, and help people be more comfortable with their kinks or feel more normal, even though I really don't like that word.
I don't like that word either. Because like, what is even normal? Anyway,
I guess, yeah.
I mean, before we wrap this portion of the conversation and this part of the episode over and on to questions, what would you say to new people wanting to get into sex work, or maybe specifically into camming or cosplay even?
Oh, hell yeah. So First of all, it's very important that you weigh your options on what kind of site you want to work on. Read their terms of service, really understand how the site works. And once you know that that's the one you want, make sure you're signing up directly for it. Like Streamate personally, they have like 4,000 white label sites, and like you can accidentally sign up through like modeling agencies, or you can if you want to. Like I know Berlin Models is a very popular digital studio where you can get paid every day. If you want to get paid every day instead of once a week, then that might be worth it for you. It's really just about weighing your options, and don't rush into it. Be ready with everything before you sign up and start, because every site boosts their models for at least 30 days. So you as a new model will be on the front page. You will be able to get more traffic. There are going to be people that take advantage of new models. So I always tell people, going in, like we talked about earlier, looking at the site, see how it works. What is, what does the tips look like? So you don't get like fake tips, or, it's be smart about things like that. Like the same stupid things guys say, like, show me something and I'll take you private. Like, obviously not. Don't fucking show them something.
Yeah.
Like it
money up front, y'all.
literally like you end up like, okay, here's my nipple, and now you leave, and now I feel like shit. Okay, cool. Thank you. But I feel like it's really about, think about what you want, make a list, of like, absolutely will not do this, and make a list of, what do you want to do, what do you want to learn more about. Like if you're like, I feel like I suck at JOI, it's time to go do some research and watch some porn.
Yeah.
That's what I do. I'm really like home alone. Like, what are you doing? I'm like, doing research, listening to audio porn. Any more insults?
Speaking of audio porn, there will be an episode of audio porn either this season or next season, but stay tuned. Moving on to some Q&A from the fans. There is one question that came in from the audience that I would love to go into, and it is, this one came from Gluco Smash on Instagram. Who is your cosplay inspo?
Ooh.
Yeah, that's such a good question.
That is a good question. I think definitely in terms of like production and video and how their cosplay porn looks, Purple Bitch, obviously, like Purple Bitch all day. It's so good. But I think like I don't look at myself like a normal cosplayer. I'm like a fucking like hot glue gun cosplayer where you see those girls. I think like, what's her name? Like Jessica Nigiri, I think. And she like builds all her armor and like foam and all this stuff. And like, I'm like Mad Max version of that. Like I'm like, hot glue it, put a Band-Aid on, there we go. Like, but I do respect a lot of people in the cosplay community. Like Rusty Fox is really cute. She's kind of got like a Belle Delphine look, but she's not problematic and horrible like Belle Delphine is. Who else is really hot? Having like a mind blank right now.
No, that's all good. There's a lot out there. There's a lot of good inspo out there. But before I let you go, Kiley, where can we find you?
Yes. Okay. Obviously I have in all my links. Kiley Corrupt is everywhere. Kiley. Corrupt with a C, not with a K. It's a missed opportunity. I think about it all the time.
I was gonna say.
Also, I spelled Kylie not like Kylie Jenner, because I was Kylie the other way before, and like weird Kylie Jenner like corrupt articles kept coming up, and I'm like, no one's gonna find me. I need to change my spelling. So it's Kiley. My Instagram, I think, is Kiley Corrupt with an X at the end right now, because I've been deleted so many. Yeah, that is. I've been deleted so many times. It's insane. My Twitter is still Kiley Corrupt. Let me check out what my TikTok is. Oh, my TikTok is Kiley Isn't Corrupt. Because I'm on like TikTok number 5. My last one was not Kiley Corrupt.
Oh my God.
They took me down, but I'm like, I'm trying. I'm making videos there. I'm trying, but yeah, Streamate is my big thing though. Kiley Corrupt on Streamate. My OnlyFans is I'm Kiley Corrupt on all my like adult things. I have many vids. I need to post better videos there. I also have Pornhub. Dear God, watch my Pornhub videos and like them and subscribe. I need a varsity jacket. I need it.
So all those links will be in the show notes below. If you haven't clicked anything, maybe you should. Maybe go check Kiley out.
Yeah, I suck dick on Pornhub.
Yes.
Also, I have leaked cam shows, quote unquote leaked, that I leaked. But they're advertised as such. They're like, stolen cam show, LOL. Like,
that's such a good marketing tactic, though.
It is.
Such a good marketing ploy.
It is. Literally, though. Oh no! Who could have done that?
Kiley herself. Kiley, it was just so much fun chatting with you over the last hour. So thank you for joining me today, and it was so nice to meet you back in Tempe.
Yes,
I'm glad
we'll see each other in person again.
Oh, we will. I know. I was going to say, I'm like, it won't be long till we are at the next reunion or whatever next event or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, no, I'll have to make my way out there. But for everyone else at home that's listening or wherever you're walking to or working out, I don't know what you're doing, it is Stripped by Sia on all podcast platforms. So if you're listening on Apple, maybe if you want to write me a review and rate me 5 stars. If you're on Spotify, rate me 5 stars as well. This all helps with like discoverability and just getting the show out there more. If you want to subscribe in a monetarily help out the show, you can also subscribe to my Patreon, which is patreon.com/strippedbysia. And if you want to get at me in both a positive or maybe a negative way, if you have any feedback, please
come at me.
Yeah, like come at me, bro. It's Stripped by Sia on Twitter as well as on Instagram. And it's new episodes every single Sunday. So we'll catch everyone in for another episode next Sunday. Thank you, Kiley.
Thank you.
Bye. You're listening to Stripped by Sia, hosted, produced, and edited by Steph Sia. Music by Ted D. Graphic design by Maria Bellandarama, and photography by Ian Dabrin.